describe get article. So what this one does is it gets the article from memory if it has it, and otherwise it goes to the database to get it. And if it's not there, then if it's there, then it will dispatch an article from the B action and return the article from that it fetched from the database. So it's going to put the article in memory and then return it. So this is so that we can fetch articles from the database or memory transparently without actually having to care about where the article is, either in memory or in the database of the browser. So what we're going to do, let's see. First case is that it should return the article from memory if it has it. Ooh. Let me put this here at the top. All right. So we're going to import the function. I'm going to split this so that it's more readable. Get article. So it should return the article from memory if it is there. All right, so this is the first time we're going to use getState on an action creator for testing. So let's do it. First, we're going to need to create the store in memory. So we're going to have to import the store, the article store, import articles. We're going to import the articles from the reducers. So we're going to import the articles from the reducers so that we can add it there. And what we're going to do is, all right, so we're going to article in memory is going to be articles, the empty store. We're going to create an empty store and no action. So that should give us the default store. And now we're going to create a new article. Articles. And we're going to pass a, I'm going to borrow that from the reducers tests. Articles here. So we want to do the summary action, and that's going to be here. Summary action. All right. So we're going to pass an action. Whoop, that was huge. All right. So we're going to pass an action of type article summary with a title and a document. So that should give us this article ASDF in memory. So what we're going to do now is, I'm going to close the parentheses. So now we have the article in memory. So what we're going to do now is we're going to call get article. That's we're going to pass the title. We're going to pass the title to get article. So get article of ASDF, because that's what we have in memory. And now we're going to pass in two functions. One is the dispatch function, which we don't actually care right now because it should be in memory. So that's going to be an empty function. And we are going to pass a get store, which is this one, get state action that should return should return an object with articles in memory. Article in memory. So when the action creator asks for the state, we're going to give it the articles that we have in memory, the fake articles that we have in memory, which is only this one we have here. So that should be all. And then we can we can see that we got the article that we needed to. So let me add .catch done, because this is async, done. So the dog is playing. So we're gonna get an article here, and it should be the same article that we have in memory. So we're gonna assert .equal .deep equal that. It should be. Let me see. Title blah blah blah. All right, so we should assert deep equal that the article dot document should be the same that we passed in before. So that's gonna be, let me summary action. Let me put this here. Summary action, right? Okay, so we have a summary action with this article so that we can refer to it later. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna call get article with the title summary action dot title, and then we're gonna get an article. So the article dot doc should be the same as the summary action dot doc. So that means we got it from memory just fine. And then we're going to call done. We have some syntax errors there. Woohoo! Okay, so we're gonna just add this here. Const identity. No, what am I trying to do? Wait. Okay, so this is ES6 syntax. So how do we create an empty function with that? Do I wrap it with parentheses? Parentheses, does that work? What is it saying? Does this work? All right, so that was it. So can I remove this? All right, so this is the empty function with the ES6 syntax. Empty function for dispatch, and for get state, we're gonna have the articles in memory. Cool, and this works. If I say here true, all right, cool. So if it's in memory, we know that we're gonna get it from memory. Now comes the meat of this. All right. So now it should. What have I done? All right. So now it should return the article from DB if it's not in memory. So our store is just going to be, so let's change these articles store. This is going to be the empty store so that it doesn't have any articles. And we're going to try to get this article with the summary action. And I'm going to keep this empty for now. No actions are going to be dispatched. So no actions are going to be dispatched. And when you ask for the state, we're going to give it the articles store, which is this one with no articles. So that should make it go to the database. So when this is done, we should have an article. So we're gonna have to mock the database call. So let's see how we can do that. Article db. All right. So that function article db. Let's see if I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to mock this kind of call. I'm going to try. So we're going to need the article db from db. All right, so this should exist. All right, so we're going to get the article db from its file, and then we're gonna need to restore the mocks after we're done. We need to restore the mocks, and we're gonna try to mock the article get function, which is called here. So we're gonna try to mock that and see how we can see if it actually works. So we're gonna mock the article db, the get method, article db, the get method, and we're gonna mock the article db, the get method, and we're gonna return a promise with the article. It can be whatever object. We don't actually care. From db true, for example. It can be whatever. All right, so we're gonna try to mock that for it to return these from the database. So for now, we're just gonna call this, and then when it's done, we are only going to check that the method was called. So what we're gonna do is article db dot get dot call. I think it's this way. Full.call. Yeah, this thing. So okay, I'm gonna grab that, put it here, because this is what we're testing, and see if it was called. I'm just gonna remove that. Undefined is different than 1. Oh, I forgot to change this. All right, so it seems like it mocked it properly. So we've intercepted the call to the database. Right, let me try this out. I say false here. All right, it actually intercepted the call to the database. Cool. So return the article from memory from database if not in memory. So we're checking that it actually calls the database here, and we need to check now. So this is going to return the object that we set here. So then that's what we will get here. since it will exist, then it should return it, but also trigger this action. So we're going to test those separately. So what we're going to do for now is say that the assert.deep equal that the article is actually this fake article that we were returning. So this should work, but it doesn't. Undefined. Undefined? What's undefined? This article? Oh, I see. Okay. Alright, so this is returning this from the store, and we're not doing anything with the store here. So getState is going to return this store, and when alright, so we need to implement the dispatch call. What a mess of code. So this is the dispatch function. These tests are pretty confusing. Anyway, so we're gonna have to actually do something here. So we're gonna get an action that we're gonna dispatch to. So we're gonna get an action here. Action that's dispatched, and we're gonna actually take the articles store with its previous state, which is the same, pass the action that should modify the memory store. Articles, we're gonna pass the articles store with the action, and then we're gonna override articles store. We're gonna override the store we have here. So this is like a mini Redux. We have our store, and once we get an action, we're gonna apply it and then override the article store so that it gets returned in here. So we're gonna override the article store with the action. That should put it in memory. And then this is not a const, this is actually a let, because we're gonna be modifying the thing. Okay, so now we're seeing that the article that comes from the database needs to be something like the actual article. So we're gonna say document is gonna be true. So now what we're gonna check is that the article.document is the same as the one we passed in. Doc true. Let me put some spaces here. We're gonna try to extract this one. I'm gonna put it here. The fake article is gonna be that, and this is gonna be fake article and fake article. Doc. Cool. So what we're checking here is that the database was called. All right, I'm going to split this test in two because it's pretty big. So what I'm going to do is it should access the DB if the article is not in memory. Cool. So that way we're just gonna call, resolve, and actually check that it was called. So we don't care about these. We just care about these two. We don't care about the action handling. So that's out. And when we ask to get the article from the store, we don't care about that either. So we're gonna remove that, and we don't care. I don't think we need this one here. We don't. All right, so we need the fake article, and we're gonna call it with the title. And since it's not in memory, wait, we actually need the store. Yeah, we do, because that's what checks if it's in memory or not. So we're gonna pass in an empty store. It's gonna see that it's not in memory, and then when it's done, we're gonna check that it actually called the database because it was not in memory, which is what the test says. All right, so we got that out of the way. So now what we're gonna do here is we don't actually need these two calls. We don't care about the database anymore. So it should return the article from DB if not in memory. Okay, so we have an empty store, we have a fake article. Hi, fun Martas. This is JavaScript, actually. Yeah, it's only a 6 syntax transpiled with Babel. But yeah, it doesn't look anything like current JavaScript. It's actually pretty nice. The language is growing and it's becoming more mature. There's a lot of syntax though. It's sometimes complicated to get your head around that. But yeah. So we have a fake article. We're gonna mock the article DB call, return the fake article. So now we're gonna get the article. We're gonna dispatch the action that it throws and pass it to the store, and then we're gonna return the store when you call it with get state. Let's track this for nicer get state for a nicer test. Const get state equals that, and dispatch is gonna be dispatch is gonna be that. Right. Dispatch is just gonna be that, and then we're just gonna call dispatch and get state, and then when we get the article at the end, we're gonna assert that the article is the one that we stored in the database previously. So this should work. I think it does. Okay. All right. So we've tested these two things. So what we're gonna do now is test that if the article is not in the database, then it's gonna return undefined. So we have the case that if the article is in memory, it should return it from there. If it's on the database, it should return it from the database. And now, if it's not in memory or in the database, it should return nothing. So that's our next test. So it should, oops, it's not here. All right, here. It should stop the search request. No, what? Wait, I'm lost. All right, here. It should return the article from DB if it's not in memory. It should return nothing if the article is not in memory or DB. So let's go. So we're gonna need an article store that's empty. We're gonna need nothing of this. All right, we're gonna need these two functions. Dispatch is gonna do nothing. We don't actually need this. So that's gonna be empty. Get state is gonna return the store. And get state is gonna return the store. And what else do we need? We're gonna need to mock the article database call and return nothing because there's gonna be nothing there. in the database. Right, and then we're gonna call get article of this thing with those two functions, this one, and then we're gonna get nothing. We should get nothing at all. So assert that, let me see, assert okay. I'm gonna just assert only. So assert that article assert that so equal that article is undefined, that we don't have an article. And then so I'm gonna add the done callback. Yeah, I'm doing unit testing of the actions right now. This is a Redux and React application, and I'm testing right now the actions. It was testing the reducers before. So these are the more hairy tests because they have a lot of action creators, have the most side effects. So that's when you need to do some mocking. And what I'm testing is basically coordination, that the proper actions are triggered and that the actions do what they have to do. But yeah, it's all unit testing. So does this work? No. Oh, I didn't call done. All right, this is an async test, and now this works. I'm gonna add the catch line so that if there's any error, it propagates to the test. Cool. So this method is done. Get article. We covered memory, we covered database, and we covered non-existing articles. All right, so that one's done. 39 tests. Let's commit, because I don't know if I forgot to commit previously. Export get article. And this is everything. Wait, so I'm actually not going to commit the get article tests. I'm going to commit the fetch tests before. So API, we don't need that, and we don't need that. Article content, fetch summary, fetch content. We don't need the database for these two tests. So we fetch the summary, blah, blah, blah. We fetch the content, blah, blah, blah. And we don't need this test. We'll commit that afterwards. So that's done, I think. Yeah. So this is only the fetch content and fetch summary tests. So we're gonna commit now. Let me check that it's right. Imported the API, these tests, and remove the API from down here. Cool. So test article actions, fetch summary, and fetch content. All right, and now the new test was about get article, and what we did was add the get article, import the database, and added our tests. Get article, blah, 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 blah. All right, cool. Cool. So test article action get article. That one is done. I'm gonna do git push because I like seeing my commits on the internet. That's done, and I'm gonna check the UI pulls that our tests are there. Cool, awesome. It's pretty annoying to just do testing all at once. Ideally, you would test as you go along, but we just set up the testing framework not long ago, and we didn't actually test at the beginning. We were trying to figure out the architecture and how Redux works. So I think this is now at a good place where we can test without going crazy. There's actually a little bit more to test regarding article loading, and most of the actions and stores are tested. So after that, we should require tests with every edition. It's very important to do testing, even if it takes some time to do it, especially on dynamic languages. Okay, so again, we're gonna go test. We have tested get article, we have tested fetch summary, we have tested fetch content, and now we need to test change article, which is pretty big, and same thing for expand article, which is also big. Should be more or less the same tests though. But yeah, after we test these two, we're done testing Redux stuff for now. So then I'm not sure if I'm going to get there today, but should be able to start next day testing the UI, the React components on Node by using only Node with the React add-ons. I really want to do that. I think that's very interesting, being able to test your UI in the Node server. So I don't think I'm going to get around to doing it today though. We'll do it next day. Should be Monday probably, maybe Sunday, I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna test change article. Change article is called once we change an article on the application. So that should be, if we are here, if we look at the Redux log, which is sometimes big. So if I go to a new article like artwork, then we see that we triggered a change article action. This one's the one that we're gonna test. It's all this action, which is in charge of actually triggering, going to fetch the article summary if it's not there, which is this here, and all that. So that's what we're gonna go for now. All right, so first thing, let's create the describe thingy. Okay, so we're gonna create this. I'm gonna say change article, close that. It should trigger a change article action. Okay, so we're gonna need to import the change article, and now we're gonna do change article, and we're gonna pass in the title, and if we want it full or not, which we don't care right now. So dispatch So get article. Okay, so we're just gonna pass in an empty dispatch function so that it doesn't do anything at all. And I'm not using get state, right? No. Down there, but we're not testing that right now. So this should be fine. So what are we looking for? Wait, just gonna go down and dispatch again. Dispatch get article of the title. Yeah, it looks pretty similar. It has the brackets. As you can see, I'm not using semicolons anywhere. So that sometimes trips people up. I'm using the standard linter, so that's I just don't care about linting. I just need help with undefined variables and things like that. So I'm using npm standard. I'm using this linter, and it's just installing with npm, and it just has certain rules. But if you integrate it with your editor, it just tells you when you have an error. For example, if I make 2 spaces there, it's going to tell me I have an error here, and it says down there at the bottom, multiple blank lines not allowed. So I don't know, it has certain rules. If I add semicolons, it just complains, which I'm fine with. It looks cleaner, so whatever. It's just preference. It doesn't really matter. You just use whatever is good with your team or yourself. Okay, so when we call this, it's gonna do a bunch of stuff, not only calling dispatch and this. So we're gonna need to figure out how to not do anything after the first dispatch. So we're gonna say first action equals true equals false. And then when we dispatch, we're gonna receive an action here. We're gonna say if is the first action, and then we need to make this true. Then false. All right. So if it's the first action, we wanna assert dot equal that the action dot type is change article. I think that's it, with the title, and that the title is the one we passed in, which we don't have anything, so this is wrong. SDF and ASDF. So the type of action triggered will be change article, and the title will be the title that we passed in. If it's the first action, then we're going to call done. If it's a different action, we're not going to do anything. So this should not run at all, because dispatch won't do anything at all. So this should work. Oh, I didn't import change article. So I'm gonna mark that position, come up here and import change article. And then I'm gonna come back, and I have errors here. Done is not defined because we haven't put it here. Done, and blank line here. Change article with that. Okay. Can't read property then of undefined. It's going to dispatch, and this is returning nothing, and then it's calling then. So returning a new promise doesn't work. Oh, need a new promise. No, I need an empty function for the promise constructor. Do nothing, please. All right. Okay, so now we are just testing the first action here. Cool. So we can consider that done. Now